The starship, Horizon's Edge, drifted silently through the vast, empty void of interstellar space. Captain Erin Drake leaned back in her command chair, eyes fixed on the swirling streaks of light outside the bridge's forward viewport. It had been a routine patrol until the anomalous readings started coming in, a faint, inexplicable signal from a long-abandoned sector of the galaxy. The timing couldn't have been worse. Her crew, weary from a 6-month tour, had just begun to settle into a steady rhythm of maintenance and scanning exercises. Yet the signal's origin was far from routine. It matched no known beacon frequency, bore no recognizable signature, and seemed to pulse with an eerie, organic rhythm. "Commander Adani, status report," Drake said, her voice calm but laced with curiosity. The ship's first officer, a seasoned and no-nonsense officer from the Titan colonies, glanced up from his station. "Still faint, Captain. Signal strength is increasing, but only marginally. I've had Lieutenant Voss enhance the gain on all long-range arrays. Whatever this is, it's distant, possibly hundreds of light-years beyond the nearest known systems." Drake nodded, her brow furrowed. "And we've ruled out cosmic phenomena? Pulsars, magnetars, rogue black holes?" Adani gave a grim smile. "Yes, ma'am. We've even rerouted the starboard sensors to run a comparative analysis against known galactic anomalies. No match." The captain leaned forward, fingers drumming lightly on the armrest. "How's our fuel situation?" Lieutenant Voss, a lanky officer with a sharp mind for logistics, chimed in from the engineering console. "Plenty to spare for a short detour, Captain. Our fusion cores are operating at peak efficiency. We can pursue this signal for several days without compromising our primary mission." Drake didn't hesitate. "Set course for the signal's origin. Best speed." The order sent a ripple of energy through the bridge crew. After months of routine patrols and cataloging stellar phenomena, a mystery like this was a welcome change. Even the ship's AI, Iris, sounded more animated as it announced. Course laid in. Engaging faster-than-light drive in 3, 2, 1. The Horizon's Edge surged forward, its slipstream engines carving a smooth path through the fabric of space-time. The once faint signal grew steadily stronger as they closed the distance. Its pulsating rhythm became more distinct, like a heartbeat echoing across the stars. For the first time in weeks, the crew was alert, energized. Even Adani's usual stoic demeanor softened, his curiosity visible in the subtle tilt of his head as he monitored the signal's data stream. 3 days later, the source came into view, a derelict starship floating in the dark expanse. Its hull was scarred and weathered, patches of scorched metal glinting faintly against the starlight. The design was archaic, its angular contours and blocky modules reminiscent of the early interstellar exploration era, long before the sleek, modular vessels of the current age. Most intriguing, however, was the emblem emblazoned on the ship's flank. The insignia of Earth's first deep space fleet, a symbol thought to be extinct for centuries. Drake stood, stepping closer to the viewport. "What the hell is that?" Adani's voice was low. "It's the ESS Aurora, Captain. Last reported missing over 400 years ago." A silence fell over the bridge as the gravity of Adani's words sank in. The Aurora was a legend, a ghost ship that had vanished on its maiden voyage into the uncharted depths of the Milky Way. Its disappearance had sparked endless theories: sabotage, catastrophic systems failure, or even alien abduction. But none had ever been proven, and the Aurora's fate remained one of humanity's greatest unsolved mysteries. "Open a hailing frequency," Drake ordered. Voss hesitated. "Captain, after all this time." "Just do it," she said firmly. "If there's even a chance someone's alive on that ship, we owe it to them to try." The comms channel crackled as Voss transmitted the standard greeting. Seconds stretched into an eternity, and just as the crew began to give up hope, a faint response came through, a garbled transmission, distorted and fragmented, but unmistakably human. "This is ESS Aurora mission. Compromise, need assist. Drake's heart raced. Boost the signal. Get me a clean line. Adani worked quickly, stabilizing the connection. The voice returned, clearer this time. Captain Matthias Callan of the ESS Aurora. Weak stranded. Systems failing. Crew in cryostasis. Requesting immediate aid. The captain exchanged a stunned look with her first officer. Matthias Callan was commanding the Aurora when it disappeared, Adani said. If this is real, he's been in stasis for 4 centuries. Drake took a deep breath. Prepare an away team. Adani, Voss, you're with me. Let's find out what happened to the Aurora. The airlock door hissed open, revealing the Aurora's dimly lit interior. Dust motes floated in the stagnant air, illuminated by the away team's shoulder-mounted lamps. The corridor was eerily silent, save for the faint hum of emergency power. Panels hung loose from the walls, exposing tangled wires and charred circuitry. Drake's hand tightened around the grip of her sidearm, more out of instinct than fear. Keep your eyes open, she murmured, stepping cautiously onto the Aurora's deck. Adani followed close behind, scanning the corridor with his handheld sensor. Life signs are weak, but they're there. Cryopods should be 2 decks down. Voss brought up the rear, his toolkit slung over one shoulder. I'll check the power distribution nodes. Maybe we can restore some functionality. As the team moved deeper into the ship, the sense of unease grew. The Aurora's interior bore the marks of chaos. Dried bloodstains streaked the walls, claw-like gouges marred the bulkheads, and scattered debris littered the floor. Drake couldn't shake the feeling that something terrible had unfolded here, something far worse than a simple mechanical failure. When they reached the cryostasis chamber, Adani's sensor began to beat more insistently. This is it, he said, stopping in front of a heavy, reinforced door. He tapped the control panel, but it didn't respond. Dead circuits. Voss! The lieutenant stepped forward, his gloved hands deftly removing the panel's outer casing. After a few moments of tinkering, the door groaned and slid open, revealing rows of cryopods bathed in a dim, bluish light. Most were intact, their occupants frozen in time, faces peaceful and serene. But several pods were empty, their glass shattered and their interiors scorched. Drake's voice was quiet. What happened here? Adani knelt beside one of the shattered pods, his expression grim. Looks like an internal overload, maybe a power surge or something else. Before he could elaborate, a weak cough drew their attention. In the far corner of the chamber, a single pod had begun to thaw. Its occupant, a man in his early 40s with graying hair and a prominent scar across his cheek, stirred as the freezing mist dissipated. The display above his pod identified him as Captain Matthias Callan. Drake stepped forward, her voice steady. Captain Callan, can you hear me? The man's eyes fluttered open, unfocused at first, then slowly gaining clarity. He looked at Drake, his voice hoarse. Who are you? I'm Captain Aaron Drake of the Horizon's Edge, she said. We received your distress signal and came to help. Callan's gaze sharpened. Horizon's Edge, never heard of it. How long? Drake hesitated. Your ship's been missing for over 400 years. The weight of her words hit Callan like a physical blow. His head dropped back against the pod's headrest, his eyes closing. 400 years, my God. Drake motioned for Adani to run a medical scan. Captain, can you tell us what happened? Why is your crew in stasis? Callan's voice was barely above a whisper. We found something we weren't prepared for. A signal, though warning. Then they came. Shadows in the void. We had no choice but to shut down, to hide. The crew, I kept them frozen, hoping someone would find us before. His voice trailed off, but the implications were clear. The Aurora hadn't just vanished. It had been attacked, pursued by an enemy that Captain Callan still feared even after centuries in stasis. Drake's hand rested lightly on the cryopod's edge. Captain Callan, we're here now. We'll do everything we can to get you and your crew to safety. You're not alone anymore. Callan opened his eyes again, his gaze locking onto hers. No, it's not just us. If they find us again, it won't just be the Aurora. They'll come for all of you. They'll come for everyone.